Hello and welcome to the British Steam Locomotive podcast show series. For today and tonight, sorry for the delay, folks, and for tonight, because I'm going to go and see her Tuesday, it is in fact the one and only Princess Royal class 462 Pacifics. Enjoy! The LMS's chief mechanical engineer is Sir William Stanier. He designed many locomotives for the LMS, like the Jubilees, the Black Fives, and also rebuilt the Royal Scots from Fowler's design, and he also designed these, the Princess Royal Class 462 Pacifics. 13 of them were built between 1933 and 35, and also one prototype was built known as the Turbomotive, but then rebuilt as Princess Anne. The prototype of the class, Princess Royal No. 6200, won a series of tests as the LMS claimed to be the most powerfulest engine. It had 4 cylinders, 250 psi tapered boiler, as Stanier did previously work for the Great Western and used tapered boilers for this type of locomotive, as well as the Duchesses, which I'll later talk about in another podcast show. The second engine of the class was named Princess Elizabeth, and then is currently our Queen. She's the most famous engine of the class, happened in 1936 that she did a record run from London Euston to Glasgow via Crewe, and then came back the following day even faster. A record run that stands to this day. Only 13 Princess Royal classes were built. 2 are preserved. Number 6201 herself, Princess Elizabeth, the one I'm going to see on Tuesday at London Victoria Station. And also another famous engine to the preservation era is Princess Margret Rose, which is now the Midland Railway Trust Centre at Butterley. Still on static display, and I do wish they'd get their tools out and start overhauling her, because she really needs to have a place on the main line still. Oh, I love the Princess Royal class, because I went to see Princess Elizabeth back in 2012, and she's a beautiful locomotive. She is a beautiful LMS design, thanks to, well, the famous designer Sir William A. Stanier. I mean, come on, this engine's really brilliant. She could do 75 miles an hour, even though it's permitted at 60. I don't know why, but someone could correct real-time trains, that is 75 miles an hour, that she can do. And there's nothing left to describe of this locomotive, really. It's just that, as I said, 13 were built and 2 are preserved. That means the rest of them are scrapped. Princess Anne was destroyed in a fatal accident at Harrow in 1952, leaving to one standard designed class of locomotives that Robert Riddle's, Stanier and Ivert's successor and Fairbairn's successor, Robin Riddle's, decided to build another locomotive in 1954. Which he designed in 1953, which is Duke of Gloucester, which is now at Tyseley Locomotive Works being overhauled, hopefully to be returned to mainline running condition. The Duke has a part to play in the story, as it was fitted with Caprotti valve gear and a double chimney and 3 cylinders, whereas the Princess and Duchesses have 4 cylinders. The Duchesses were streamlined to begin with, but then unstreamlined because Stanier did not like the streamlining, which I'll explain in a later date. Well, that's all pretty much there is to say, even as a pretty short podcast show, because Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret Rose did survive into preservation. I mean, that is very nice. I mean, if we had to build another one from scratch, you have to form like the Princess Royal Class Locomotive Society, but it has to be like in the form of a trust rather as a private asset. Princess Margaret Rose was purchased by the Princess Royal Class Locomotive Trust after Sir Billy Butlin went to the holiday camps. Princess Elizabeth was purchased before going for scrap in advance and was how can I put this? Preserved upon purchase. That's why she's so famous, because Princess Elizabeth needed to have a place in the preservation era. I mean, she's a record breaker. Broken a record from London to Glasgow. That is very good. Ahead of driver Tom Clark and fireman Lewis. I mean, they were a good crew, believe me. I mean, Jim Clark and Don Clark, they would be a good team on Princess Elizabeth. As their, well, I hope like as their family members did years ago in the days of steam on the LMS. But the main problem was the colour of the locomotive. The Princess Elizabeth Locomotive Society did not know which colour to choose, but the LMS Red won. They were thinking Caledonian Blue, but that was a bit out of date, so they thought of the LMS Red livery, which she ran in during the record run. Well, that's it, folks. I have to wrap this one up because it's a short podcast show. So I'll oh, I forgot. Princess Elizabeth did also haul the very famous royal train for Her Majesty the Queen and HRH Princess Wales. So that's all for tonight, folks. Good night, and I'll see you again really soon on Tuesday.